I don't know about you, but this episode had me like...
Then it felt like something just jumped up and bit me.
With the Mule's invasion of New Terminus, Demerzel's journey into Gale's visions, and a lovesick Brother Day, this episode gives us some new and interesting theories about what's to come. If you're new to my videos, this isn't a regular recap, but a deep dive into the show's biggest questions, mysteries, and theories. I have not read the books, so there will be no book spoilers.
I can't read.
Now let's get into it. The episode begins with the Mule's visions of Gale Dornick, visions which he says feel like wearing someone else's dreams. This isn't the first time the Mule has hinted that an external force commands his mind and body, as in episode 303 he says,
"Do you ever feel like your life is not your own? Like it's been overtaken by some Holy Spirit?"
This is all to say that someone or something is controlling the Mule, guiding him toward his eventual meeting with Gale Dornick. But who could be doing this? The two prime suspects are Magnifico and Harry Seldon. Magnifico would be an interesting reveal as the real Mule. We really don't know much about his origin or his mysterious instrument, the Visi sonar, which amplifies the Mule's powers, but there is one line in this episode that I found rather odd which connects Magnifico with the Mule. When Beta sues the troubled troubadour, she says,
"You and I, we're good at making people love us."
This theme of making people love you is something echoed by the Mule time and time again.
You love me. You will come to love me. You will all come to love me.
Now, I've also argued that it could be Harry Seldon manipulating the Mule. After all, the Mule only started to appear after Harry ventured off to Una's world in 302. If psychohistory can be used to nudge the galaxy toward Harry's plan, can it also be used to nudge an individual? I also think robots are helping Harry, just as they were created to help humanity. At the head of this is Calais, who we last saw bring Harry to her hideout on Una's world. With Demerzel mentioning a robotic form of communication known as the Clasp in episode 304, I think we'll see her meeting up with Calais in the future. This area that the Mule has his visions looks a lot like the area he experienced them at the end of season 2. He tells his pirate underling, Van Dag, that his meeting with Han Pritcher allowed him to put a name to the face in his visions. The fact he didn't know others had powers like him existed suggests he didn't grow up on the second foundation. I've theorized since episode 1 that we'll likely get a flashback episode this season that shows his origin story. I could be completely wrong here, but this might be a young Mule witnessing the death of his father. Last episode left us with the cliffhanger of Demerzel aboard Gale's ship. The nanite technology within the Cleons allows her to track them, and according to her, Brother Dawn's vitals stopped 12 seconds after he was jettisoned out of the airlock. But is he really dead? Well, if we look at the trailers, we see that he's alive and well under the care of the Mule. This either means that Demerzel decants a new Brother Dawn, who subsequently gets captured, or that Brother Dawn was picked up by the Mule in the vast emptiness of space. Crazier things have happened in the show, so anything is possible. I also thought it was interesting just how angry Demerzel got at Gale. She's always so calm and collected, but this anger over someone she loves really points at her having these human-like qualities, and perhaps even suggests a shift in her character. But the big reveal here is that Demerzel worked with Harry to create psychohistory. Her years of knowledge as a robot contained the necessary data for him to complete his model. Now knowing that Demerzel was responsible for the collapse of the Star Bridge, and that very action allowed Harry to escape execution at the hands of the Cleons, suggests a far closer relationship between these two than originally thought. Harry is also with Calais, who I've long suspected is a robot as well, which creates a link between Calais and Demerzel. It's here that Demerzel also learns about the second foundation, something Harry didn't disclose to her. She thinks that this, or Gale, could be the unknown variables causing the Prime Radiant to go haywire. Her Prime Radiant also didn't predict the destruction of Calgon, something Gale knew was going to happen. Does that then mean the Prime Radiant given to her by Harry is an altered form of psychohistory? One that ensured Demerzel couldn't stop an event that was supposed to happen for the good of the galaxy? In the end, Demerzel deduces that both the Mule and Gale are the outliers that have caused the math to break down, so in order to find out more about what's to happen in the future, they have to take some unorthodox steps. Gale knows that 4 months from now there will be a battle in which he faces off against the Mule, a confrontation which sees him try to pry the location of the second Foundation. The problem is, she doesn't know where this confrontation takes place. This is where Demerzel comes into play. She's able to dig into Gale's mind and put herself in her visions, concluding that this battle takes place outside the Imperial Library on Trantor. I wonder if the library itself will come into play. It contains a wealth of knowledge, including Calais' original Book of Folding. It's where Harry Seldon first met Gale, and the setting of Salvor's visions in Season 1, which saw a young Raish holding the dagger that would eventually contain Harry's digital consciousness. But Demerzel wants to go even further into the future, where she finds herself in vast darkness picking up the infrasonic signature of a black hole. According to her, 4 months from now, Gale will be orbiting the ergosphere or surrounding area of one such hole. Here, space-time is distorted. In episode 302, we learned of the black hole bomb known as the Navacula, which harnesses the power of a rotating black hole to use as a planet-killing superweapon. I can't help but think there's a connection between Gale being in a black hole and the Navacula being powered by one. Brother Day continues his journey to Mycogen. There he learns of the destruction of Calgon and much of the Imperial Armada. This sweets vendor foreshadows his breakup with Song as she states all these treats taste different, and once you've had the perfect taste, you may never experience it again. Day tracks down Song to find that Demerzel was correct. Song had the memory of her time with Day completely wiped, but not to worry, Day has her memories stored on this device, and she can have them back. Song doesn't want this. Their relationship, she assures him, was purely transactional.
If I ever told you I loved you, it's because I was scared of you.
So was what they had real, or was Day being played this whole time? Sensing he's about to lose her, he throws a Hail Mary, stating that by regaining her memory, she'll remember her meeting a robot. Remember that Song is a member of a religious order called the Inheritance, which believes robots will one day save humanity. I think this is what's going to keep Brother Day alive, as he would be seen as public enemy number 1 to members of this group. It was his ancestor, Cleon I, who hunted down their kind. He also has one of Demerzel's maintenance tools which once belonged to the Inheritance and which they see as a holy relic. Song has secretly called her life mate, Ocean Glass 49. She's dressed like one of the Sunmaster officers we saw last episode, so that might be where Brother Day is taken. We know he survives this ordeal because we'll see him back with Demerzel. In the trailer, he also says this line:
She is the only one who can stop it.
Originally, I thought he might be talking about Gale, but considering how things are going, and if he's speaking to the Inheritance, maybe he's talking about Demerzel. I mean, if I'm in his situation, I'm gonna try to make a deal with these guys, and it might mean trying to get Demerzel, a real robot they worship, back to them. So either he escapes his captivity here or is able to make that deal. I also wonder if Song or someone else can access Song's memories to prove his side of the story. That will be interesting to see. Torn and Beta continue their quest as they make their way with Randu and Magnifico to New Terminus. They believe that Magnifico's instrument amplifies the Mule's power, so having it in their possession might give them the advantage they need to win. That is, if the Traitors and Foundation can sue for peace. And did anyone else think it was a little odd that Beta says she wants to meet Harry Seldon? I mean, if you believe Magnifico is controlling everything, you could argue that he's using Beta to secretly get close to Harry, and this would foreshadow that. You might also be wondering why Harry doesn't seem to know about the Mule. This is likely because this digital version of Harry was created before anyone even knew about the Mule hundreds of years ago. It would also explain why Demerzel's Prime Radiant couldn't foresee the destruction of Calgon. That Prime Radiant's math is outdated and wouldn't have taken into account the Mule. Thus, Calgon's destroyer, the Mule, wouldn't be picked up. Harry's decision to kick everyone out of the vault and re-establish the null field is likely a response to all this new information. An attack, a new threat, he's gonna need time to recalibrate. but we do know Harry and the Mule eventually meet. The Mule will be successful at taking over New Terminus, seen here as Mayor Inber surrenders, but we'll also see Gale reunited with Han, also take a look at Magnifico in the background, so it's possible the Mule is chased off the planet. Now the trailers also provide some insight into what will happen next. The battle rages on New Terminus with Torn running across the city with Beta on his back. This appears to be the Mule in Mayor Inber's office, and we'll also see the mayor being waterboarded. If you saw my last video, you'll know my theory that this might be Gale holding onto Raisha's dagger, the one that held Harry Seldon's digital consciousness. I've also talked about something big happening in the Ascension Chamber. Both Demerzel and Brother Day are seen here, plus we know Brother Dust's ascension was a few days away. However, with such dramatic changes happening over the past few days, it's possible this will be put on hold. Brother Day looks to go on some sort of psychedelic journey under the watchful eye of Song and Oceanglass. This could be a religious ritual or perhaps a way to see if he's telling the truth. The vault here reopens with two figures walking toward it. My best bet is either Han and Gale or Harry and Gale. The land around them is littered with debris and blast marks which suggest this is sometime after the Mule's attack. Here we have Demerzel in the cloning chambers where all the cloning tanks are. It looks as though an explosion has occurred. Could this be the actual end of the genetic dynasty? Is it related to this shot? Maybe the inheritance, unbeknownst to Brother Day, uses him as a sort of Trojan horse to destroy it. With the season already halfway over, everything seems to be ramping up to the eventual confrontation between the Mule and Gale. But now I turn it over to you. What do you think will happen next? I want to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.